Hey Star Trek fans, welcome back to the channel and another Trek news update. This is a big week for the Star Trek universe as Star Trek Strange New Worlds finally returns to our screens on Thursday with 2 new episodes. We also have a new non-fiction book release and the launch of an exciting new comic series from IDW. So without further ado, let's take a look at this week's new releases.
I never really cared for science fiction. I guess I just didn't get it.
First up on Tuesday, a new reference book is out from author Glen Swanson, Inspired Enterprise: How NASA, the Smithsonian, and the Aerospace community helped launch Star Trek. Here's the back cover blurb. Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry sought to create a work of science fiction that would immerse viewers not only through clever storylines and modern visual effects, but also by presenting the story in a scientific and technological context that felt believable. To this end, Roddenberry, a former World War II combat pilot, used his connections in the aerospace industry to seek out the latest and greatest technology. This book, authored by Glen Swanson, former chief historian at the NASA Johnson Space Center, uncovers the story of how NASA, the Smithsonian, and the aerospace industry helped craft, legitimize, and popularize the beloved television show Star Trek. As always, I have links in the video description if you would like to pick up the book to add to your collection. Out on Wednesday is the first issue of a new Star Trek comic series from IDW and writer Christopher Cantwell, who wrote the Star Trek Defiant comic series that recently wrapped up. Star Trek Red Shirts is a TOS-based story featuring all new red-shirted characters with a bit of a horror twist. Here's the synopsis from IDW. The start of an all-new, heart-rending Star Trek 5-issue miniseries by writer Christopher Cantwell and artist Megan Levins, featuring Starfleet's most intrepid and doomed crew members, Red Shirts. Now, finally, they get their own story. Led by an experienced officer embedded on the snow-ridden planet Arconia 89, the crew of the USS Warren has a small window in which to pin down spies seeking to steal classified secrets and keep Starfleet data out of their nefarious hands. They face threats not only from their faceless enemies, but from the brutalizing elements and wildlife of a planet far from home. The Red Shirts' lives and Starfleet's sanctity are on the line, and no one is safe. Star Trek Red Shirts #1 is out on Wednesday, and I have links in the description if you want to pick up the digital edition from Amazon. And finally, after nearly 2 years of waiting, the next chapter of Star Trek Strange New Worlds is finally here. On Thursday, Paramount Plus is releasing 2 episodes from Season 3. First up is Hegemony Part 2, concluding the longest cliffhanger wait in Star Trek history. This episode is written by Davy Perez, from a story by Henry Alonzo Myers and Davy Perez, and directed by Chris Fisher. Also dropping on the same night is episode 2 of season 3, titled Wedding Bell Blues, written by Kirsten Beyer and David Reed, and directed by Jordan Canning. Keep an eye on this channel and your podcast feed, as Barry DeFord and I will be covering both of these episodes on Positively Trek, and we'll be doing so weekly through to the end of season 3. And on Saturdays on this channel, The Unready Room returns, with Brandy Jackala and I doing live discussions of each episode of season 3 as well. We're really looking forward to discussing these episodes with all of you, and I hope you're able to join us. Keep an eye out here and on Blue Sky at Kertrats for a heads up when we will be going live. Thank you all so much for joining me this week, and thanks as always to the Patreon supporters. I'm really looking forward to the next 9 weeks as we dive deep into Strange New Worlds once again. I hope you all have an amazing week. Be kind to each other, and definitely be kind to yourselves. And as always, live long and prosper.